I'll wait for you till I am 35. Nan Kang. A while back, I went furniture shopping and fell for a brown sofa set. Big and comfy, the kind you could sink halfway into. It was a little over $4,000. I told him, I'll buy it for you as a wedding gift. He looked at me in surprise and said, don't be ridiculous. Then he got very interested in the little coffee table. That cover-up was so obvious, even I could see through it, totally unnecessary. But other than that, he probably had nothing else to do, nothing else to say. I looked at his back and smiled a little. He didn't know I wasn't sulking or trying to hurt him. I really did want to buy him something. By the time we got off at the last stop, it was dusk. We took it slow and walked back. I tilted my head to look at his profile. The golden sunset brushed his face and softened the lines. I could clearly see the fine hairs by his nostrils. He grows hair like crazy. Besides the blue shadow at his temples and chin, there's even fuzz on his cheeks and above his Adam's apple. I kept trying to talk him into shaving those spots, but he wouldn't. Once he shaved, the stubble came in hard, and the whole lower half of his face turned blue, like half a mask. When we got home, the suitcase was already in the living room. He went on packing. I pretended not to notice. He could still tell what was his and what was mine. He lay on his back on the bed. I lay on top of him, scooted up, and pressed my face to his. He seemed to like it too. He rubbed his face against mine. To me, holding each other matters more than sex. Sex can just be passion, but an embrace comes from complete trust and affection, opening yourself up with no guard at all. Skin to skin, cheek to cheek, those phrases are perfect. From 1999 to 2006, 7 years, I loved this person. It was like he'd become part of my body, just naturally there. Sometimes I barely even felt it. But if it really came time to cut it off, I'd hate to lose it. It would hurt. It would make me want to cry. Will you ever fall for someone else? It was too heavy a subject. I only dare joke about it. Probably. Maybe one day I'll meet somebody, and it'll be instant fireworks. Sparks flying, full-on wildfire. I got him to laugh. I know your type. Mature, steady. Basically, somebody who can stand in front of you like Optimus Prime. A classmate said that to me once. You've got to find someone who can really keep you in check. Probably because sometimes I am way too childish. Once I got close with my dorm mates, I was always messing around and pulling pranks. Luckily, nobody took it to heart. They just laughed like, what can you do? Oh, it gets worse than that. If I really like someone, there is no helping it. If I don't, then anyone trying to date me better be mature, good-looking, and rich. I've thought about that myself. I don't know what kind of person I'll fall for in the future. But no matter how I thought it through, it always came back to him. All I see in my head is his face. I can't picture anyone else at all.
If it is not him, it just won't work.
Sometimes that really feels hopeless.
I thought again about a wedding gift.
May the years be peaceful and this life be steady. My 2 favorite lines.
I'll stick them on the gift and give it to him. Because for me, I don't need them anymore. There was still so much I wanted to say to him.
If one day you can't keep going, you can come find me. I'll be waiting. Plant a seed in his heart, make him feel guilty, make him remember how good I was to him.
Let him know he still has somewhere else to go, so he won't be able to just swallow being wrong.
When the chance comes, that seed will take root and sprout, and then I'll harvest it. But part of me also wanted to tell him, if you've decided to get married, stop dwelling on the past, and just live your life. Live the kind of life society approves of, it'd be easier. Isn't that another kind of happiness? And besides, there is another woman caught up in this. If anyone's innocent, it is her. I kept wavering between those 2 thoughts. I couldn't choose. In the end, I selfishly sent him a text. I'll wait for you till I am 35. If you are still not here by then, I'll find someone else. I am not innocent, but I am not guilty either. I just happen to love someone. Through life and death, through parting and loss, I made this vow to you, to hold your hand and grow old with you. That really is the saddest poem. Life, death, and parting. Those are all big things. None of them are ours to control. Compared to the forces outside us, we're so small, so small. And still we insist on saying, I want to be with you forever, never apart for as long as we live. As if I get to decide that. Eileen Chang. In 2 more weeks, he'll be getting married. It has been a week since he moved out. We haven't seen each other, and he hasn't replied to my messages. I wonder what he'll think when he reads it. Now that it has come to this, I don't blame anyone. Because I saw it coming a long time ago, I always figured every extra day was a bonus. These past few years of joy were stolen time. Now it is time to return it. I don't want to go on and on about how unfair the world is. What is the use? I've always been a coward without the resolve or courage to fight, so I hide in a corner and live as unnoticed as I can. He was the department's assistant manager after all, so a lot of people came to help when he moved out. His staff and the movers. I sat on the living room couch watching, sticking out among all the people coming and going. Someone asked me to help out, and I pretended not to hear. I was trying my hardest to keep it together, but I still couldn't keep it off my face. His staff probably thought we were on bad terms. They cracked a couple of jokes, but when I didn't respond, their smiles turned forced, and they stopped bothering with me. In television shows and movies, when people part, everyone else conveniently disappears and leaves the 2 leads alone. But right up to the very end, everything had already been carried downstairs. He had to go get the new place set up, and his staff kept bugging him to treat them. We never got a chance to talk alone. I sat on the couch, listening closely to every sound downstairs. I heard his voice. I heard the car start. I got up and ran to the balcony to look down. The car was slowly pulling away. I watched him drive out onto the road. I watched other buildings block him from view. I watched him until I couldn't see him anymore. I cleaned up all the papers and random junk he'd left behind. Then I soaked a bunch of clothes in a tub and wiped down every pane of glass again. I had to find things to do. He'd always resisted being gay. Sometimes I think, if it weren't for me, he would have fallen for some girl. He never said he loved me either. Even though we lived together, even though we had sex often, he never said it, as if saying it out loud would mean admitting what he was. I never said it to him either. I only wrote it once or twice in letters, because saying, "I love you" out loud felt too awkward. My sleep this past week has been awful. I'd be exhausted, but the moment I lay down, I drift into a groggy half-sleep. If I heard a loud noise, or suddenly thought of him, of the past, I'd wake up at once and start spiraling. Then I couldn't fall back asleep. I'd just lie there wide-eyed, till dawn. A few times I got up in the middle of the night to read or go online. But in less than half an hour I'd get tired again and lie back down. Still, I couldn't fall asleep. I'd already picked up this day sleeping, night living habit in college. My classmates all called me a night owl. I tried sleeping pills too, but I hated how I felt waking up after taking them. After graduation, I slowly fixed that habit, but lately it feels like it is coming back. It is a story I heard a long time ago. A widow would scatter 100 copper coins every night, then search for them one by one. In the corners, under the bed. By the time she'd found them all, it was almost dawn. I knew it was because she was lonely, but only knew that much. I couldn't truly relate. Now when I think back on that story, only now do I see how bleak it is. Now I am pretty much in the same situation. I can't sleep at night, but once I get up, I just zone out. I don't even feel especially sad. I just feel blank, not knowing what to do to kill time. He left me nothing but loneliness. Thinking I may have to go on like this for years scares me and makes me panic. That is why I am scared. Maybe I can't make it to 35. Back in school, when I was still a freshman, we lived in the same dorm room when everything between us was still confused and miserable. One night, in my sleep, I suddenly called his name out twice, loudly, and then woke up. I heard him answer sleepily from the next bed. Knowing he was there, I felt reassured, turned over, and went back to sleep. When my sister gave birth to my little nephew, She had a C-section. I wasn't there. My parents and her husband were with her as they took her into the OR. Later, she told me she needed to know her husband was there to feel okay. Even if he was there, he couldn't really do anything. He wasn't a doctor. But she still needed one more look at him, so she wouldn't be so scared. Maybe that is what spouses mean to each other. Just the titles, husband and wife, love or not, make them different from everyone else. That is why I've heard so many stories like this. No matter how badly the husband treated the wife, she still wouldn't divorce him. Because sometimes she wakes up in the middle of the night and knows there is still someone beside her, a living, breathing person, no matter how useless or awful he is. Compared with a stranger or a friend, he is still closer to her. Sometimes, just having him there, that alone is a real comfort. So I am still scared. Family, kids. Those bonds are hard to leave behind. So I am still scared. Family and kids are ties you can't just walk away from. If someday he really decides not to leave her and just keep living like this, what am I supposed to do? Yesterday, I got an email from him. I miss you. I love you. Don't blame me. It was heartfelt, with his lousy writing. It was probably the best thing he'd ever written. Again and again, I kept rereading it, feelings all over the place. He'd already made up his mind, and only then said all this. I briefly told a friend what it said. I said bitterly, "Look at him. He says he loves me, and still hurts me like this." I didn't blame him, really. I just regret loving too much. We never really talked seriously about the future. A lot of things didn't need saying. I knew what kind of person he was. I knew he'd get married someday. It started, but it wouldn't last. It was doomed from the start. He is too worldly to fight society's rules. Without everyone else's eyes on us, maybe we could have just quietly gone on like that. But people always talk, and the higher he climbs, the more attention he gets. Lately, he is probably been stressing over the invitations, whether to send me one or not. Whenever I think about it, I can't help smiling, picturing how awkward he'd look with that dumb look on his face. A few close classmates are coming in from other cities for his wedding. If I wasn't there, they'd ask questions. Everyone knows we still room together after graduation. In the end, I decided not to go. He is marrying someone else. He can't expect me to smile, say congrats, and wish them lifelong happiness. That is too cruel to ask. 10 years ago, our family and my grandpa's were neighbors, so they basically watched me grow up. Later, my grandparents moved to live near my uncle. He once said about my sisters and me,
Those girls are all fine. It is the boy you've got to watch. That son of theirs has a mind of his own.
Meaning, very opinionated and deaf to other people's advice. I don't know how I ended up with that label. My mom agrees. Once I choose a road, I don't turn back till I hit a wall. Especially now that I am older, he mostly leaves me alone. Sometimes he still pushes me to get a girlfriend, says a man without a woman looking after him won't live as long. At least he is pretty gentle about it. He knows it has always been like this. He talks. I don't argue. But once he has said his piece, I still do whatever I want. I've tested the waters a few times, saying no one feels right to me. I can't even sort myself out, much less marry someone. I'll just live alone my whole life. That worries him a lot. But single by choice is still easier for people to accept than gay. In my little hometown, it is closed off and behind the times. They've probably never even heard that two men can love each other, or they'd flat out refuse to believe it. Lately, I've been thinking about whether I should leave this city. I stayed here because of him. Now he is gone. So I should go too. If I stay, I'll always know he is somewhere nearby, with his wife beside him, and maybe before long, there'll be kids too. Maybe I should go to Beijing, new surroundings, and closer to home. No idea what the future holds. Maybe from now on, I'll deliberately shut out every bit of news about him. More than anyone in this world, I want him to be happy. It is just that knowing none of that happiness includes me still hurts so much. That old post I made, 6 records of a floating life, got bumped again. Reading them side by side, all I could do was let out a small sigh. I was so happy then. The sky was so blue, the trees so green, everything looked like it was singing. Saying I didn't dare hope it'd last forever was just me putting on a front. I remember him saying, "It is only a lifetime. Better to find someone you can live with." His words are still ringing in my ears. I'd already fallen from heaven to earth. The good news is, a classmate took a 2-night train from far up north and wrangled 2 weeks off from his advisor. Like I mentioned, in 6 records of a floating life, out of all our classmates, he was the only one who knew what was really going on. At graduation, I even wrote him a piece called Not Quite a Confidant. Half grateful, half teasing. A poor scholar's gift is half a sheet of paper, just something to make everybody smile. A few classmates here, working or in grad school, heard he was in town and planned a reunion. Get drunk and welcome him back. He flat out shot that down. Who said I came for the wedding? We used to joke he had more self-control than a monk. All 4 years of college, he slept on time and got up on time. Never saw him watch a movie, buy snacks, or skip class. He kept everyone at a distance. Even going out, he was always alone. So senior year, when he asked me to go with him to Dingwangtai to hunt for books, I was honestly flattered. He said he hadn't been back in ages, so he drafted me as free labor. Neither of us was going to the wedding. Honestly, part of me felt relieved. Skipping it would look bad. Going would be walking into death by 1,000 cuts. Some say when the pain gets bad enough, the wound heals faster. But I can't promise I could take it. When he heard my husband was getting married, he came all the way from Beijing to be with me, took over the whole thing, and got me off the hook. For that, I am grateful to him from the bottom of my heart. Everyone thought my husband and I had had some kind of falling out. They kept grilling me, tried to play peacemaker, even called him over. So I could apologize. He ignored all that and dragged me around town for 2 days.
We revisited all our old haunts.
I still haven't been sleeping well. My eyes are so dry they hurt, and no amount of eye drops helps. Yesterday, after we got back from walking around, I was exhausted and lay on the couch with my eyes closed. He sat on the coffee table across from me and asked how I was doing. It was the first time we talked about it head-on. He knew before, but he never asked about the details of our relationship, and I never told him. He is 100% straight. This kind of thing makes him uncomfortable, and I was afraid talking about it would make him uncomfortable, maybe even annoyed. But other than him, I had no one else to talk to. Hearing the pity in his voice, I suddenly burst into tears.
I'd been holding it all in,
trying so hard to act like nothing was wrong.
everything inside me was gray. It had become a habit.
I couldn't even have a good, hard cry anymore. The tears just kept coming.
My chest locked up. I could barely breathe.
I said to him,
I feel so awful.
He had nothing to say when it is about two people. Even the best friend can only do so much.
When we talked about the future,
I said I'd wait for him till I was 35. He strongly objected.
that is not a realistic plan at all.
Love was never realistic to begin with. I don't love him because he is kind, handsome, or rich. And honestly, he is not handsome, and he has no money. I know my husband's flaws better than anyone. He drags his feet and only moves when things are urgent. He is not that bright, can never get English right, and he is a little slick. But I fell for him anyway. I couldn't even tell you how. And there were no conditions attached. Nan Kang, grow up already.
Someone wrote that in the replies.
I can grow up. I can be like everyone else and find someone suitable to live my life with. Maybe I wouldn't love them much at first, but over time, some real feeling would grow. Or I could just break up easily and find someone else. Or be totally practical, hold someone at night, kiss them, and be strangers by morning. Of course I could.
I am just afraid that none of them would ever compare to this one.
Because if it is not him, when I wake up, all that is left is twice the loneliness and emptiness. So a lot of the time, it is not that I want to keep waiting. I just have to. Because I won't meet another person I can love like this in this life. People say time is the greatest thing of all. It wears everything away. Whether it is joy or sorrow, it all passes in the end. All I can do is keep moving forward, slowly. Maybe years from now, when I think back on all this, there may already be someone else in my heart. Or maybe I'll still be waiting, but I may not even remember what I was holding on for. Or maybe he'll already be back, by my side. Look at the crowds coming and going on the street. Every one of them looks rushed. When they cross paths, they give each other an indifferent glance. No one can see the story behind someone else. No one knows whether, in someone else's heart, there is a person like this living there. Good night.